Welcome to the backyard. We're out here on this sunny afternoon to practice some backyard bushcraft and do some survival-ish skills. So we're going to look at a couple different fire lighting methods. Of course, everybody knows about ferro rods and everything like that, but we'll look at some other options as well as some different configurations for each of those. So come along, see what we can't do wrong. Right here, we got 4 different ways to get that initial fire going. We have different examples of those, but over here we have ferro rods. Right here we have a ferro rod in combination with magnesium. Over here we got some storm matches, as well as some regular strike-on box matches. And then, finally, we got a lighter. So right here, we have our ferro rods that we can use to get a fire going. Everybody knows how a ferro rod works. Strike it, it makes a spark. Over here is a different configuration. And it's got a nice holder for the bottom of my knife sheath. This is just a normal ferro rod, works the same way. In this case, since it's with your knife, you'd use the spine of the knife, that back 90-degree edge, to get that spark. But here, this also has a hollow handle, and inside of that hollow handle I've put one of those fire plugs in there, so if the situation needed, you could use that to get a fire going real quick. No looking for tinder or anything like that. But in this case, we're able to prepare a little bit of these cedar shavings, and we can just use natural tinder to get our fire going. And just like that, we're able to catch some of these shavings on fire, and we can transfer that fire to some of the larger shavings. And this, in conjunction with a feather stick, can get a fire going pretty easily for us. Okay, right here we have another option for getting your fire going. This is that ferro rod with the magnesium combo, and it even has fat wood on the handle, so you could shave some of this off to get these fine curls going to get your fire to go from there. And the one thing you got to remember with this is that when you're using the magnesium, it burns up like that, burns up like a firework. And the way you would use it would just be, in this case I have a beautyberry leaf right here to catch everything, just to keep it nice and contained. Just go ahead and shave these magnesium bits off onto here. Okay, I think that's enough right there. So we'll get them all consolidated in one nice little pile on this leaf. And we use the same striker to go ahead and throw some sparks on it, and we see, just like that, that magnesium lights right up. But it burns like that, so you have to have something on top of it already or ready to go to extend that initial flame. All right, so right here what we see is just a normal regular Bic lighter. I've gone ahead and taken that little protective guard out right there, but works just like a normal lighter. Only difference between these two is that this one does not have this protective sleeve around it. This one, if you dropped it into the water or into a puddle or something like that, or even you got too wet, you'd have to dry this out before it would work for you. This protective sleeve right here keeps all the water out of it. So you're able to just start it up like that. It's even got like a little clip you can cover up this trigger if you want to, but it's not really necessary. The main thing is this keeps it dry, keeps the moisture out, And this one's actually glow in the dark. So if you have it out during the daylight hours, then it's gonna maintain some of that iridescence whenever the sun goes down. It's not gonna stay lit forever, but it'll be a little bit more light than the pitch black. So what we have right here are some examples of some matches. This case, these two containers have storm matches inside of them. And so those storm matches are gonna light just like a regular match would, just they're gonna burn a lot hotter and a lot longer. This is gonna, because of all that extra accelerant there, that's gonna ensure that the wind doesn't blow this flame out. And these, you can even dunk them in water and pull them out and they'll remain lit. Let's do a comparison of these two different kinds of matches. First, we'll do the regular diamond strike-on box match. And we see we got that initial flame, but then you really have to shield it from the wind to maintain that fire. And then from there, we're just burning through the wood pretty quickly. In comparison, when we have our storm match, this one right here, it's more like a mini road flare. You don't have to protect it from the wind or anything. And as you see, even though it has that accelerant on it, it doesn't burn too fast. So this will give you plenty of time to be able to get this in there, in this case, into that tinder bundle you have down there, comprised of like the feather sticks and then the shavings and then the little bit larger material on top. And so see, once it's done with that initial part, this is where you have to be a little bit more careful and ginger with it to protect it from the wind there. But still, it's still burning. So we got a lot more burn time out of this one. Even with that difference in burn time, as long as you have your fire materials, tinder and everything set up correctly, you have no problem lighting it with one match, even if it's a small diamond match, strike-on box match like this. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna light our fire in different locations just to ensure that we're able to get that fire going with our one match. And so just like that, we see our fire spreading throughout all of our feathers. We're able to put our larger split pieces of cedar on top of it. And so as it goes through those feathers, it's catching this material. The fire is actually growing more and more until it's getting to the point where it's becoming self-sustaining. All right, I want to thank y'all for coming along, seeing what we can't get wrong, watching this video where we went over all our different fire lighting methods, whether it's matches, ferro rods, lighter, or a magnesium ferro rod combo, and a little bit of an introduction into how you can use one of those simple strike-on box diamond matches, probably the weakest method that we have there out of all those options. Use that to get a self-sustaining fire going just by lighting that initial light.